Niagara Pet Resort owners Nathan and Marisa have a bulldog named Harley Dean who has changed their lives in many ways. The pet resort is Niagara's first open concept, meaning cage-free, boarding and daycare for dogs. They also have a photography business called Paw Prints. In this interview, we find out how Harley's health was transformed by switching him to a raw food diet. You have an amazing story to tell. You actually saved your dog's life. So let's go back and talk about what was happening with Harley's health and how you turned it around for him.
Nathan.
Well, Harley had a tough childhood. From the time that we got him, for the next couple...
Day one.
The day one when we got him home, he was constantly sick. I mean, Marisa has more details, but we were always concerned about him all the time, right from the get-go.
Harley had chronic diarrhea to start. Then he had kennel cough twice. The second round of kennel cough turned into pneumonia, which was around the Christmas time. And when he had pneumonia, we had an emergency, and they said that if we decided to take him home, that he most likely would die. So that was our first death scare with Harley. Then we found out that he had hypoplastic trachea, or also known as collapsing trachea, which is an abnormally small passageway in his trachea. So there was that. He already had a weak respiratory system, and we had him in full-time doggy daycare when he was stable, when his health was stable, and we were both working ridiculous hours. And at that time, he had ingested a cow's hoof, and on its way back up, it cut his esophagus. So,
and did he need surgery for that?
He didn't need surgery. It was months and months to figure out, what was going on, really, what was happening. X-rays, every time he threw up, it agitated the incision that was in his esophagus. So he was on antibiotics, consistently. He was in the vet every 2 weeks. We were broke. The only thing that, he could stomach was a vet canned food. And it was $80 to, bi-weekly to start. And then as Harley started growing, and it was the only thing he could have, it got more and more expensive. Plus, downtown Toronto, we have it in full-time doggy daycare. We were barely feeding ourselves, basically. So we switched him to raw.
Okay.
And his life changed.
That's fantastic. So what exactly is the raw food diet for him? What's your version of it?
So our version of the raw food diet is, there's a couple of different methods of feeding raw. There's the prey method, which is you can feed carcasses, like whole carcasses and stuff like that. There's the pre-ground method, which is what we do with bones and everything. There's a bunch of different methods. It's based on convenience, what you're kind of able to stomach, public health, which is a big thing. You have to be very careful when dealing with raw food. But with Harley, we have chosen we grind everything ourselves. And if you want to interject, because I'm talking a lot.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No.
Including the vegetables, would you grind, if you give them kale or something like that, would you actually grind it up?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We grind
everything. You don't juice it. You grind it.
We use a proper meat grinder, and we use it for both, so that's good. And it's been fantastic because of Harley's throat, because of his trachea. It's really smooth because we grind it very fine, so that there's all the nutrients in the bones and everything's still there. It's just not larger pieces like some raw feeders will feed with the larger pieces, which is fine for most dogs. It's just for Harley, this works out best. And
did he take to it right away, or did it
instantly?
Instantly for him. It seemed
180.
natural. It seemed like he should have been fed that the whole time. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the food, when you decide to go with the raw method, you should always choose a protein. So pick one consistent protein, be it beef, chicken, duck, lamb,
So that it's better than not to give a variety of
Some people do give a variety, and you know, like when I was talking about the prey method of feeding, you know, that's more on the lines of, you know, changing it up and doing stuff different. For us, I mean, it's time is an issue, you know, convenience, all of that stuff. So, and with Harley, changing things around just doesn't work. So we picked one, we picked chicken.
And with a lot of dogs, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it depends on the dogs for sure. Yeah, we picked chicken. We decided to because it was the easier meat also to grind properly. It's very difficult to grind a lot of the beef, but
Yeah.
I mean,
And we use chicken backs, so the bones are a lot more pliable. You know, they are easier to ground up.
Now I've heard it said that dogs can eat chicken bones if they're raw, but not if they're cooked. 'Cause
Right.
they splinter.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely
No cooked bones.
yeah.
Very dangerous.
Yes,
Very dangerous. I cannot stress that enough.
because of the pet resort too. That we're always with the dogs. We're always with lots of different kinds of dogs and different behaviors, and we have ones that, you know, depending on what they would be chewing on, we have to make sure that everything that we have here is 100% safe for all dogs, not just one or two. So
Exactly.
we don't let people bring different toys or
Fine.
different types of bones, and a lot of people want to bring certain things for their dogs that we have to say no to because, you know, overall safety is the most important thing. And I don't know how many times we've heard of dogs choking or you know, people coming to us telling us that they've had a splinter from a cooked beef
A cooked bone,
Yeah, so
not a raw bone.
we know that raw bones do work, you know, so and Harley is a perfect tester for that because he goes to town on them and it cleans his teeth, and it's fantastic. So
There's a lot of great benefits,
Great benefits.
to raw feeding in terms of the overall appearance of your dog. So, you know, everybody that pets Harley is like, oh my gosh, he still has a puppy coat. Like Harley's too.
they can't believe that it's a bulldog coat because it's
It's
so
everywhere.
soft.
He's
Yeah.
a shedder, but he's it's soft. You know, like he's super soft all the time. It's glowing. There's no dullness to his coat. It's super shiny. You know, he's got brightness in his eyes. His teeth are white. He doesn't have doggy breath. You know, he's not. Bulldogs are known to be huge farters. Like flatulence in that breed is excessive.
His 6K walk, so he can go walk for a long time. He's got lots of energy.
Lots of energy.
Although right now he's kind of
Useless.
he's kind of out of it, but he went for a long walk this morning
And
too.
how
So.
old is Harley?
Two.
Two. Okay.
So he's just really tired right now. We wanted to get him tired out for the interview, so we're like, let's get him tired out. But now he's just
dying.
a little on the other side. So
And then the other big thing is poop. So Nathan and I like to call ourselves the poop investigators. Every time I converted a dog, because we help a lot of people that are interested in raw. You know, we answer a lot of questions and we help sometimes with the conversion. You know, I'm chasing dogs around while they're pooping to, you know, everything can be told in a dog's poop. You know, what they're using, what they're not using. With a raw stool, it's poop. With raw poop, it's very minimal. It's back in the ground. It goes back into the ground within 3 days. You know, there's not an excessive odor.
yeah,
And it's hard and solid, so it helps with anal expression, which a lot of dogs have a big difficulty with right now. So there's just so many benefits in terms of, you know, plus maintaining body weight, you know, overall health, energy, like you were saying. It's just like the sky's the limit with
Okay,
the
so
raw.
what would be a typical meal for Harley?
In terms of the ingredients, or
Yeah, the ingredients. What would he have?
I have to bring out my book. So Harley, we call it the Harley approved raw diet. So he gets, his main protein is the chicken backs. He gets chicken organs. So those are the two big components. And then eggs with shells, apples, carrots, sweet potatoes, kale, celery, avocados, flaxseed,
Stay.
bananas, and I also add honey and peanut butter. And then I also give Harley specifically a fish oil and a multivitamin.
Okay.
We're extremists in terms of Harley's health. So
you add that to his food, the fish oil and the
yeah,
the,
once a day in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
and we were discussing before that, you know, we save a lot of money. We have saved a lot of money with Harley by switching to raw food. A lot of people say it's very expensive, but when we did the switch over, we saved a ton of money on vet bills and everything else. And he hasn't been back other than to say hi and to get his vaccinations. Because he's very healthy, and the vet said nothing but good things. He was 5 pounds overweight or something at one time, and all we did was, just cut down a little bit on the amount, and he was getting a little bit more exercise. When we opened up the pet resort, he's been in top shape because he's constantly running and playing with the other dogs. So,
so you do vaccinate. So you do whatever vaccinations
we choose to do the traditional vaccinations because we're in the position of owning a pet resort, for, public health, safety, liability, all that stuff. It's just, it's just safer. Let's say it makes the most sense right now, because there's a lot of controversy with vaccinations. There's a lot of controversy.
Yeah, and the schedule of them as well. Like, do you need, rabies shot, for example? Do you need to do that every 2 years or every,
Yep. They have to have
For us, we are open to, let me word this correctly. We are open to dogs that are vaccinated in different methods, pending that we speak to their veterinarian, that their veterinarian is an actual veterinarian. Like, we have to talk and do all that research.
Yep. We make sure the professionals are involved.
In optimum, the dog has to be in optimum health too. Like, we can't have a sick dog coming in the door. And there's just a lot of vaccinations and the raw diet, they go hand in hand. Like, you've got a list of veterinarians that are completely for, and then you have a list of veterinarians that are completely against. It's a matter of preference.
And there are also in between. There are people that will vaccinate, but then after the vaccination, they'll do a detox for certain chemicals and stuff. So there's
absolutely
a combination.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, and how about fleas? Like, if Harley were to get fleas, would you do the flea collar thing, or do you do a more natural approach?
Well, in general, we use guinea hens on our property for pest management for fleas and ticks.
Yep. That's a really awesome natural way of doing things. Of course, we have had to use different products on Harley because we still require we require some form of preventative medication for flea and tick, because it can be detrimental to the business and to people, because fleas can go home with dogs. So we want to make sure that we cut down on them as much as possible. As far as ticks, we live in a very heavily tick populated area, so we got guinea hens that have actually
bulldozed the population.
Yeah, they've actually went from us finding ticks on dogs and having to do a lot of careful cleanup, watching, making sure that all the ticks are off the dogs, to now having no ticks on dogs because the guinea hens eat them all. So
there's other methods that we take to because in terms of dog overall care, and then the whole I don't want to say green, but like environmentally friendly road approach. We're both very into, essential oils, and so aromatherapy, there's certain essential oils out there that are great pest preventatives.
Lavender?
We use a lot of lavender, so we'll spray all the dog beds with lavender. It's
also a calming scent for dogs. So.
Yeah, exactly. We don't clean with any of the dog stuff is not clean with any chemicals, so we use a lot of vinegar, a lot of essential oils. They're antibacterial, antifungal. All of our dog beds are stuffed with cedar chips. So cedar is a huge, it's a pest preventative. Like, we just, in areas where we can't compensate by being environmentally friendly and natural, we try to do as best as we can.
And we do all the programs and research ourselves. We don't take anybody's word for anything in this business, because, for people, this is their babies, and we care for them like we do for our own. And because we care so much for Harley, it's really been a very successful business because of that. And our raw diet has been people have been very happy with that as well. And so far everything's been fantastic thanks to this little monkey right here.
So even if like when you wash the dog, would you have like, what would you use for shampoo? Or
we use
to get sprayed by a skunk or something?
Yeah, well, skunk we've used. There's many natural preventatives for the smell of skunk, but we don't around here. Thank goodness we don't have, because we're completely fenced in all the way around. We don't actually have any critters on the yard.
Okay.
And the critters are, they stay away because of the dogs' smells that are everywhere.
And the donkey next door who actually scares. We have a donkey next door, and he scares
everybody away.
It's true. It actually works. So.
In terms of shampoo, we use an eco-friendly, biodegradable shampoo, and we're so outdoorsy in our concept because we're Niagara's first cage-free boarding facility. Mm-hmm. So we're very outdoorsy. And a lot of times they're just covered in, the outdoors, be it the mud or whatever it is. And, you gotta hose them down outside. So being outside, we use everything that's biodegradable, environmentally friendly. It's, sensitivity on the skin. So it's nothing, we don't use anything that's, super potent, and everything's we try to be very, very safe. And we do a lot of research. On
the natural pathway of kind of healing and everything else as well. Like we use aloe vera, there's Nature's Aid, things like that on hot spots, skin irritations, things like that. A lot of the dogs come back and their owners pick them up.
Are we making it hot, buddy?
Well, it's pretty warm up here, pal. But yeah, a lot of the owners get their dogs back going, well, that hasn't disappeared in weeks, and he's been out playing all week or all month, depending on how long their dog stayed, and not expecting some of the skin irritations to go away from the natural pathic ways of healing. So
yeah.
Okay, so you said you're cage free. You're the first cage free.
Yeah, in Niagara Lake. Yep.
Yeah. In Niagara.
In Niagara. Yeah.
Niagara.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, where do the dogs sleep, and how do they? Like, what does that look like?
You want to take this over?
Sure.
Boss man?
Sure. Yeah, so we have a place downstairs that is the dog den, and they all hang out there. We have all the beds lined up side by side, and the idea is the dogs live, sleep, and work as a pack, and they learn to play as a pack as well. And it's very important for dogs when they reach a certain age to have play in their lives and to be able to be social, and for us as people to understand that dogs are a social animal, and we try to teach people that when they come through the door and explain to them that this is the type of environment that we have for your pet. 90% of people absolutely love it with tears in their eyes of joy, and 10% of the people are very concerned that this is a different form, that it's strange or foreign to them. So we have some explaining to do to people, and we teach them that this is what dogs love the most. And
so every dog has its own bed.
Yeah.
They're all together in the same room.
Yep, and they don't ever sleep on their own bed. they cuddle together. They sleep on top of each other, because when they become part of a pack, they really do become best friends, and it's really neat to see the group of them all lying on each other and piling up. And
so is there initially some fighting, sort of infighting when a dog?
There's wrestling. No,
dogs play, but what we do, so Nathan is explaining the pack mentality, because we operate strictly as a pack, and you can hear right now, you'd never know that there's 10 other dogs in this
downstairs.
House right
now. We screen every single dog that comes in here, so we do what we call a meet and greet, so it's an assessment on their social skills. But we both studied dog psychology, and we operate as the pack leaders. And it's all about representing a strong sense of leadership, and it's all about a sense of balance and energy. So when... Consistency, exactly. So when you're calm and, you're calm and you exercise this energy of discipline and assertiveness and leadership, they just kind of instinctually, they go back into their primal way of life, and they go into this pack mentality, and I mean, we've dealt with up to 20 dogs here at a time, and we keep everything calm, and collected.
They talk about the alpha male or the alpha female or whatever.
Sure.
You don't have that problem where the dogs.
When they first get here, there are dogs that are more dominant and there's dogs that are more submissive. But in that way of life, it's just natural for dogs to be that way. So we don't take a dominant dog. You want to go down there? Okay, you go down there, pal.
But as pack leader, there shouldn't be. Dogs will try to challenge us as pack leader to kind of, if they're used to being more of a dominant dog at home.
But it's okay for them to be, is what I'm saying. It's like we don't turn down a dog because of the fact that they're dominant or submissive. We just, if a dog's unbalanced with, that came in and showed signs of attack or showed signs of a bite, we have to be on that right away and understand whether that dog would, need a little bit of rehabilitation before they came in here. In which we do as well. We do rehabilitation and we go to people's houses to help train their dogs and, train people to understand that they need to change their life in order to have their family back, because people are getting driven apart themselves because of sometimes the dogs being unhappy so
there's a lot of nutrition, wellness, psychology, balance.
Absolutely.
It all goes hand in hand, and
it all fits one big puzzle, and it's
having to
even the socialization aspect. When you've got a dog on a leash and you've got another dog on a leash and they're just passing each other, it's sort of an unnatural state.
Absolutely.
They can't go over and sniff each other and decide who's boss.
Yeah.
So they just bark at each other.
Yeah. So we work on leash control with people as well. We do a pack walk every Saturday for charity, and we meet with people in town and we do practice proper leash etiquette so that people can actually learn the right way, the right way to allow their dogs to be able to be social and be free. And the only way that they can actually do it properly is to have control as a pack leader, because the owners need to be a pack leader for their dog, because their dog sees them as that or doesn't see them as that. So it's important that we teach people to be able to have that ability. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the daycare, I guess you'd call it, where people could drop the dog off for a few hours. You have the overnight stay, like if you're gone for a week or whatever.
Absolutely.
And then you have the training, like the behavioral stuff.
Yep.
Oh, and there's something about a taxi. Is that do you operate that as well?
Yep, we do pet taxi. We're like
all the way to Toronto.
A one-stop shop kind of deal.
Yeah. We kind of offer everything here that you can get done for your pet right now. We are working on the higher end of grooming. So come January, we're going to be doing more of the creative grooming. Right now, we're just doing the go-home bath and the nail clipping. But, it's just time to get there and get the right people in. And
so what would be the creative grooming then?
Well, we want to actually have a grooming style. Don't tell anybody. No, we want to have a grooming style.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, no, we want to be able to combine our photography with the grooming and get a really creative stylist that we're looking for right now to kind of come in and for some of the dogs, and we have 2 beautiful standard poodles downstairs that are absolutely gorgeous, and the groomer did a fantastic job. But finding the right person to do the right creative grooming so that my photography can shine out a little bit more, and we can kind of go that route.
Something else you offer is is it called Paw Prints?
Paw Prints Pet Photography. We started that with Harley in Toronto when we were up there, and I was just trying to do a side job, and we just realized that I had a knack for it. I had already been a photographer, and we got some great pet shots, and we just kind of realized the animal's will to please, even in front of the camera. And it's really neat to see, especially as when they see me as a leader with the camera. It's great how they'll actually listen and get excited to do what we want them to do, because animals, especially dogs, want to have a job, and it's like they're working when they're on the mat. So yeah, we get some great shots. And
so you could actually just drop your dog off and have him photographed and
absolutely,
exactly, and trained and
absolutely.
We really want I think the whole concept here is that it's an overall experience for your pet, but we're really on the track of changing people and dogs one step at a time, like with everything that we offer in terms of the daycare, the overnight, the open concept,
and the raw
food, the nutrition. They all are, as much as it sounds like kind of we've gone in 10 different directions, they're all interrelated. They all connect in some way, and we you know, we've given up, you know, everything to be able to do this, and it's been
wonderful,
the most amazing experience. Like, we've just watched people change, we've changed, you know, and we're hoping that, you know, we're both Niagara kids, you know, we're hoping that Niagara will start to change too. And
yep.
Me too.
that's what we'd like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay. Exactly.
It's good to be creative in something that you love, and I think that that's what we want to do with the Nagra Pet Resort and what we want to do with our nutrition, and you know, kind of step outside the box and what people as consumers really, you know, everybody wants to kind of go with the flow and kind of listen to what, you know, everybody else is saying. And I think we just kind of wanted to, going through what we went through with Harley and listening to everybody else, we finally just said, you know what, we're going to do our own research and we're going to take our own courses. And we advise everybody to do that. I mean, if people don't like raw food and they don't want to go that route, then do your own research for your dog. Don't listen to all the big companies and everybody else saying this is what you have to have and this is what you have to feed your dog for your dog to be happy.
Exactly.
And you know, it's just, I mean, I think the owner knows best what their dog should be having and how to make their dog happy. And if they do, they should be doing the research to really make that happen for their dog. And for themselves.
Yeah, and when you have a dog stay here, the owner brings whatever food they're accustomed to.
Yeah, and we never try to change an owner's mind.
Food or whatever,
we accommodate everything.
Okay.
And like, to touch on Nathan's point too, is everybody has, like, when you're dealing with something with your pet, be it behavioral, nutrition, whatever it is, everybody has an opinion about, you know, what they think should be done. And everybody thinks that their opinion is the right way that it should be done. And in terms of, you know, you get bombarded with all of this information, you know, you really have to go with what your gut and what your heart tells you to do. And like Nathan says, you know, do your own research. And I mean, the world is, with the internet now, is just, it's a wealth of information. And you have to, I mean, you use it. And if something is bothering you, kind of get to it and figure it out.
Books. There's lots of books out there. Books, but better than the internet. Yeah. So
we had a dog one time. She took off in a thunderstorm, and she was missing for 3 days. And we got a phone call from the you know, the people that look for pets, and she was seen, I think, on concession 7 near here. Yes. So every day we went out. We're, you know, in the morning before work, we go out looking for her, hoping to find her. We didn't find her anywhere. Then I was saying, well, let's, you know, maybe she's in the ditch somewhere. Like, I just want to find her body right after 3 days. And then they called us and they said she's in Queenston and she's fine. She had run all the way to Queenston Heights.
Oh my God.
Well, we were basket cases. We totally fell apart.
Wow.
So that's how important a dog can be to your family. So
absolutely, people aren't having kids anymore; they have dogs. I'm not kidding. Like,
that's true.
I mean, you look at the statistics. Like, you know, people are allowing their dogs to sit at the dinner table now. I mean, behaviorally speaking, for us, it's not a good thing.
Not a good idea.
But, you know, dogs are people's family members. They're people's kids. They're people's lives. Like, they're their therapy. They're everything to them.
They are, because you can talk to your dog about anything. You know, you'll always be understanding, and
they don't talk back, which is good. Like kids, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome. So, is there anything else you'd like to like for people to know? Or?
Come to Niagara Pet Resort.
Come to Niagara Pet Resort and read your own books and
good care
study
of your
we
dog.
Will. Right? And if anybody ever has any questions in terms of nutrition, raw feeding, because it can be incredibly overwhelming, you know, if you do make the decision to switch to raw on your own, and you get, you know, you're overwhelmed and you have questions, you can contact us anytime. Because we're
maybe you can give me the website.
Yeah.
It's Niagara Pet Resort?
Yep, www.niagaraPetResort.com.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.